Hello friends, welcome to this interview with Jenny Baker at the International Convention of the TS in 2021, Living in the Now, Challenges of the Inner Life. The Theosophical Society being founded in 1875, the United States was its first and England its second section, founded in 1888. I have the honor now to introduce Jenny Baker, National President of the English section of the TS. Jenny's first encounter with Theosophy was in 1981 at a yoga weekend at Teckles Park. The objects of the society seemed to resonate with yoga philosophy so perfectly that she joined there and then. She attended her first summer school in 1989 and has attended every one since then. She became the director of the summer school in 2005. Jenny has served on various boards and committees for the TS England and the Foundation for Theosophical Studies, and was elected the national president in 2015. In 2017, she gave an excellent talk about the crest jewel of wisdom, Viveka Chudamani, at the EFTS Congress in Barcelona. Besides Theosophy, her interests include yoga, music, photography, and rambling in the countryside. Dear Jenny, welcome. The question to you is, what, according to you, is the challenge of the inner life, and how to overcome this challenge?
Thank you, Els, for that introduction. I would like to describe the challenge to the inner life with two words from the Sanskrit language. These are Maya and Avidya. Maya is usually translated to mean illusion, and Avidya literally means without, and Vidya knowledge, without knowledge. So we think of it as ignorance.
Can you explain more about Maya and Avidya?
Certainly, Els. Maya is sometimes referred to as a veil that hides the truth from our eyes. This veil stops us appreciating the real and blinds us from our true self. Maya is the cause of our ignorance of the eternal life within us, and for us mistaking the unreal for the real.
Does H.P. Blavatsky have anything to say about Maya?
She certainly does. She says in The Secret Doctrine that Maya, or illusion, is an element that enters into all finite things, for everything that exists has only a relative, not absolute, reality. She continues, as we rise in the scale of development, we perceive that during the stages through which we have passed, we mistook shadows for realities, and the upward progress of the ego is a series of progressive awakenings, each advance bringing with it the idea that now at last we have reached reality. But only when we shall have reached absolute consciousness and blended our own with it shall we be free from the delusion produced by Maya. The universe, she adds, is called, with everything in it, Maya, because all is temporary therein, from the ephemeral life of a firefly to that of the sun. Maya can only be dissolved by the knowledge of absolute truth. and can be perceived only by humility and true inquiry.
The concept that this world is only an illusion and therefore not real is hard to understand. Can you explain more about it?
I think that the first thing we have to grasp and accept is the fact that we are not a body that has a soul, but instead we are a reincarnating spirit that inhabits a physical body for the length of its lifetime. We can then ask what happens to the spirit when the body dies. We know that it continues in another format. Those who do not believe in an afterlife and think that death is the end of everything are wrapped in the veil of illusion. Theosophy teaches that anything that changes and that has a beginning and an end is finite, and only relative reality when looked at with physical eyes. Absolute reality is beyond our understanding.
So, you see the challenge of the inner life as the conquering of illusion and ignorance. How can this be achieved?
HPB says the first necessity for obtaining self-knowledge is to become profoundly conscious of our ignorance, to feel with every fibre of the heart that one is ceaselessly self-deceived. The secret doctrine says that however much we study sacred texts and listen to sages or gurus, we cannot grasp with our finite mind something that is indescribable, incomprehensible, and infinite. Once we realise that everyone has a spark of the divine within, a minute part of the absolute consciousness, we lose all fear of death. We begin to move away from materialism and go towards spirituality.
Have you any suggestion as to how to do this?
Yes, here are a few suggestions. Firstly, we must seek refuge in the intuitional part of our nature by practicing meditation and by looking deep within ourselves, to the higher self for guidance. Secondly, we must never lose sight of the divine light within us. Thirdly, we must be disciplined in our spiritual practices and aspire to serenity and silence, for it is only then that we will know our true self, that which never dies. Fourthly, never to despair, but to persevere however hard it may be to lift the veil of illusion. I am reminded of the Vedic prayer which could be used as a meditation. It goes like this: Lord, lead us from the unreal to the real, from darkness to light, from death to immortality. These words, when said sincerely from the heart and not just from the mind, take us, with practice, to a higher level of consciousness. To finish, here is another quote from HPB. Progress is made step by step, and each step gained by heroic effort. Conquered passion can no longer turn and rend you. Be hopeful then, not despairing. With each morning's awakening, try to live through the day in harmony with the higher self. Try is the battle cry taught by the teachers to each pupil. Naught else is expected of you. One who does his best is all that can be asked. To sum up, illusion is the cause of our ignorance of reality, but by using our inner strength, by perseverance and by stilling the mind and looking towards the infinite, we can achieve our goal of oneness with the Absolute.
Thank you very much for these deep reflections, dear Jenny. Friends, we will close this interview with a short film made by our brother Damon Scothern as a warm invitation for the upcoming Congress of the European Federation, hosted by the English section. The theme will be Healing Oneself, Healing the World. It will take place in York.
Come and join us for the 39th European Congress of the Theosophical Society at York. Be there.